Courtesy of Intel, this week we're giving away yet another Intel Android tablet. Congratulations, Cassie Lowe, last week's recipient of an Intel Android tablet, for successfully participating, telling us her favorite entertainment app, including the hashtag Intel Android, and making sure to tag me somewhere in the tweet. This week, all you gotta do is the same thing, except tell me what your favorite news app is. Good luck, everybody, and thanks again to Intel for supporting our community.
Calvin Murphy asks, what was it like to host a TV show? It was awesome. It was one of the highlights of my career, if you would call it that. Because my career is kind of careened. In no particular direction. I've relied on serendipity to guide me, to just let me know what might happen next. And doing a TV show was a fantastic experience. I almost didn't have the experience. I'm not going to say I lucked into it. Some people, and I've mentioned this so many times over on the internet, believe that my career started when I hosted a TV show. Most of the people who follow me today have no idea that I hosted a TV show. They have no idea that I hosted a radio show. They just think I've only existed on YouTube. That's not the case. Everything I did in my career led to the opportunity of being able to host a TV show. And I enjoyed it so much. Every day. And I think it was right around 2 or 3 p.m. Pacific time. I hosted a live TV show, and I helped people through a myriad of problems. I answered their questions live on the phone in a day and age when very few people had webcams, netcams. It was a good time. That hour of the day was amazing. I loved it. And I was doing other things as well. That wasn't the only thing I did in the day. Of course, to have that hour live, you had to prep. I would say it took about 2 to 3 hours, if not more, per show to prep for that hour. I would spend an extra hour in the morning, beyond that, making sure that the notes were what they needed to be, that I had everything I needed to have before I went live, because that was my responsibility. I gave 110%, and I had fun. I got to interview people. Some of those people became friends. Phil Plait, also known as the Bad Astronomer, because he had a website, Bad Astronomy. He's not a bad astronomer. He's a great astronomer. In fact, I saw him last night on TV as a guest for another show on space. It was a chance to do something that otherwise I never would have been able to do. And I miss that time because for some reason or another, there's a perception that information or intelligence is only legitimate if it's on TV. And this is a mindset that I think is dying, and I hope is dying, because even though I did my best to present information and present myself the best I could, I have seen so many television broadcasts over the years with the hosts or, the content was just inaccurate. And of course I was screaming at the TV, which doesn't really work. I mean, you can. It works in the sense that you're screaming at the TV, but I think you know what I'm saying. The TV doesn't scream back. It's a one-way medium. I miss connecting with a group of people that otherwise I never would have known. People have asked if I would do something like that again, and the answer is absolutely yes, for sure. Those opportunities are few and far between. And to me, the information or the insight that I might present is just as valid when I present it online, in audio and video, in written form, as it would have been on traditional television airwaves. The station that I worked for couldn't even be subscribed to by most of the people who would want to have seen it in the first place. It's very rare that someone will remember me from those days, which is how they might have discovered me. It's nice. So I would love to do a show like that again, helping people with simple concepts. I'm not, as many people know, I'm not a hardcore nerd. I don't want to be. That's not me. It never has been me. I don't geek out over every single spec of the latest hardware. I don't. It's not interesting. That's not where, to me, it's not interesting. It might be interesting to you, but it's not to me. I'd rather talk about the application or the reason that these solutions exist, whether we're having fun or whether we're looking for functionality. I would rather spend my time doing that in terms of how I talk about technology or involve it with the things that I put out there. It's less about technology for the sake of technology and more of the sake of making our lives better. Some people have accused me of, you should only be talking to people who have no idea what's going on with technology. I'm like, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Quite honestly, because they're the people who value my insight. If you know everything I know, I understand why you're listening to me because we're a part of the same community. But people only value my insight, seemingly, if they don't have that insight themselves. They want to learn. They want to expand their horizons. I want to be a part of that process. So my plan at this stage is what I've done is set it up as a pledge goal. I want to be able to produce the show, or the type of show that we did. It was called A Call for Help. It was great. The thing is it takes more than one person to pull this off. It takes more than one person to do what I'm doing now. My very tiny team is increasing in a very tiny way. I've got 4 other people around me now helping me do the things that I'm doing to do a better job for people out there. This is why when I say thank you for your patronage, for taking that extra step, I really mean it. I want to be able to do more. And to be able to do more, I need to have those resources. Part of those resources is knowing what I can count on. And I want to be able to count on patrons who are true to their word. So we have a pledge goal. If we reach that pledge goal on a monthly basis, and it's consistent, I will reboot Call for Help. It will happen. So it's like I have to repeat this every few weeks because people keep asking, why don't you do it again? I am. Are you not listening to the other things that I'm doing? There's a lot of things that are happening online. I got to make sure I'm able to do what I can do. That's part of the reason of going the patron route rather than the traditional ad-supported route. I want to know that I can count on certain things, patrons. So if you want Call for Help to come back in one way, shape, or form, I would love to make that happen, but it's really out of my hands at this point. It's in the hands of the community.